Hey y'all, popping in real quick. I'm so excited to share with y'all one of my new favorite podcasts to listen to. Therapy Tea podcast is all about the varied experiences of mental health professionals and specifically the things they wish they had known before getting into this field. Therapy Tea is hosted by Jasmine and Karen, both LPCs like me, and they interview fellow counselors to discuss all the ways that we are constantly learning and adjusting as professionals in the mental health field. What I love about Therapy Tea is how honest, candid, and really funny the conversations are every single time. While I'm listening, I can't help but constantly be nodding my head and feeling validated about my own experiences professionally. Listen, they don't shy away from telling it like it is. Therapy Tea is the perfect podcast for anyone working in the mental health field right now, and especially for anyone considering getting into it. Karen and Jasmine focus on making the reality of what it's like to work in this field more accessible and relatable, and significantly less mysterious. Therapy Tea podcast publishes new episodes every other Wednesday, and you can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And I had the pleasure of being on their show where I was able to talk about my not so traditional way of getting into this field. And man, let me tell you, it was just a joy to talk with Jasmine and Karen and to be able to share my story. I'm so thankful for the work that they're doing. And I really, really think that this podcast is so helpful, especially for those in the mental health field, to feel less alone. So y'all go check it out. Subscribe to their feed, Therapy Tea podcast. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Hi there, and welcome to the Couch Next Door, where a happy hour meets a therapy session. I'm your host, Candace Frazier, a licensed professional counselor. Each week, I'm honored to have a friend come sit on my couch, and we'll dive into an area of mental health that is impacting their world. We'll definitely laugh, probably cry, and maybe go on a rant or two, because we are all humans, full of emotions. Come hang out with us. I just love this couple, and I really think y'all will too. Their authenticity, their crazy stories and memories that they share with us are hard to believe and so hilarious. Spoiler alert, it is one of the things that has made their relationship better and their connection deeper. And they're here to cheer all the couples on into finding true intimacy in their relationship. Matthew and Joanna Raabsmith are trained relationship specialists, speakers, and authors of the book, Building True Intimacy, Creating a Connection That Stands the Test of Time. They have over 20 years of combined experience in counseling, coaching, and guiding couples toward healing and transformation. Matthew is a professional certified coach, a certified partner coach, and a restoration coach. Joanna is a licensed marriage and family therapist, a restoration therapist, an EMDR practitioner, certified clinical partner specialist, and a certified partner trauma therapist. Currently, they co-lead their private practice, the Raabsmith team. In today's episode, I chat with Joanna and Matthew about what makes relationships thrive, from honesty and safety to adventure, shared goals, and emotional courage. You'll hear about their powerful framework, the intimacy pyramid, and how small daily practices like check-ins and play can make a big difference in maintaining a healthy relationship. The Raabsmiths also share wisdom on healing from betrayal, investing intentionally in your partnership, and taking those brave first steps towards deeper intimacy. Y'all, this is a really great episode. I'm so excited for y'all to hear it. All right, here's my conversation with Matthew and Joanna Raabsmith. All right, Joanna and Matthew Raabsmith, thanks for coming on the Couch Next Door.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. I'm excited about this conversation. Okay, so we are talking about intimacy, partner intimacy, and building that up and all the work that y'all do in that area. But why don't y'all tell us a little bit about yourselves and the work that you do and whatever we need to know about the Raabsmiths.
Yeah, so we kind of now, as part of our life, we run a coaching, counseling, online business. We've been doing that for a number of years. And it's kind of unique in that it's all couples who are working with other couples on their relational journey. And we kind of focus on couples who have been impacted by betrayal, infidelity, addiction. But we see kind of a host of clients, but we really love it because we get to do the work together.
Yeah.
We get to work with other couples who are doing it together. We typically, when we have a couple in crisis, they spend some time with each of us individually as well as kind of a couple. And that is a lot of fun, but it's been a kind of labor of love and a really long journey for us, but it's something we really love to do.
Yeah, and a lot of our professional work and passion comes from our personal story. And so it's something we're personally passionate about, creating driving intimacy in our relationship. And so betrayal is a part of our story, kind of working through that, and we're kind of getting to a place of a really great intimacy. And so that's part of why we're so excited to help other couples on the journey.
Yeah. So it's almost like in a way y'all get to be sort of a mentor couple to other couples.
Yes, absolutely.
It does. It feels like that a lot. And it's been really fun because some of the couples that work with us actually, they went through the process with us years ago, and they did their own work and their own healing and kind of decided, like, we want to go get trained. We want to help other people, which was really kind of the journey that Joanna and I got to experience. And so it is really fun because we build, I think, a bond with our clients because we get to see them succeed. And that's the greatest joy. I mean, the most fun we have is when we graduate a client, when we get to
isn't that the best?
You need to come back, right?
Yes.
Sometimes they're like, wait, what? We're like, you're good. And that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's cool because then we usually get to see them later, years later. We have clients who send us Christmas cards and like they keep up with your again. And I think that's a big blessing.
Yeah, so cool, so cool. Well, I read too, y'all have 3 kids and y'all homeschool them, yes?
We do. We kind of split time. So we have a hybrid. Someone helps them a couple of days. And then we help them a couple of days.
Because when I read that, I was like, how on earth? How are they running this business and doing all that they're doing and homeschooling their kids? Okay, what?
It's a lot, but it's wonderful. We love it all. It's all good. But it's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the rant. This is going to let us know a little bit more about y'all too. So tell me what your rant is today. What do you want to share with us?
Well, I think we wanted to tell on ourselves a little bit, which is we have this kind of habit, and we get a little stir crazy, and if things kind of stay the same for too long, we start to get a little bored. We get a little kind of like antsy, and so we usually, when that happens, we come up with a crazy idea, and so like. Last year, it was, what if we just went and lived in Europe for a summer with our family? And we just packed everybody up and we moved to Europe. And we did that for 2 months. And we didn't know. And the house didn't burn down. We got back. And
so cool.
Yeah. So Joanna's about to have a 40th birthday. And we were like, okay, let's do something like healthy, right? Really challenging. And so we were like, let's do a triathlon. And let's do an Ironman triathlon.
Yeah. Not just any.
All out.
40 miles, right? It's like 140.6 miles. And so we signed up. We got a bike. We have a treadmill now. Like we went all in.
Because I am not running outside in winters in Memphis. So we had to wait.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Yeah.
Yes. But now we've started telling people, and we're kind of in that place of like, oh crap, we committed to this.
Yeah.
Like,
now you have to.
That's how it went.
Yeah. And like really committed in like the span of 24 hours. It was like, totally. And then we just dove in.
Wow.
Our bedroom is like a mini gym now. And I'm definitely thinking, what in the world have we done?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Okay. So what's your favorite little gadget that y'all have bought to train for this? Do y'all have a favorite?
I do like the technology.
I'm
kind of a data nerd, right? Anything that's like you're breathing 1% more than you were 6 minutes ago.
Okay.
I love it. Joanna's like has to like cut the credit card if I get too much. And I think like I'm also really big. Food matters to me a lot. And so I realized this is like, we were looking at the amount of time it takes to do a triathlon.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Really like thought about it. And I was like, I'm going to have to eat. That's like multiple meals. Right? So I'm already starting to kind of worry about that. I'm like, all right, what do I got to eat? I've done a marathon before. So like they give you that goo that tastes like,
it's disgusting.
Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
But I'm already like, this is like twice as long. Is there like a buffet at the transition? I'm excited. And a little daunted because triathlon people they're into it. We've met
for sure.
And they're like, there's no like halfway. Like it is,
No. Well, let's be honest. Y'all are not halfway people if you decide to do a triathlon, but an Ironman.
Totally not.
Y'all fit in already.
He like geeked out on the tech, and probably the biggest thing I geeked out on was finding an indoor bike that was pretty. So
well, of course,
nice, and it's not like an eyesore, and so I was like so excited.
Love that. If I'm gonna do it, I want to look cute doing it.
Really, I'm like, I can't have my house looking like a gym.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so
now
funny.
I'm excited to hop on my bike because it's pretty.
Yeah,
it'll be motivating.
Okay, well, so when is it? When is the event?
So we're planning next fall. So we have about a year to get ready because we figured out our age.
We'll do like an Olympic, and we'll do like a half Ironman to kind of build up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really fun because our kids actually did a triathlon.
Oh, cool.
Last weekend. Yeah. Really short one, but it was super cute. And so they were like, you guys are going to do this, right? And so they're super excited.
Oh, that's neat.
They still think we're cool. So they think this is really cool that we're
doing this.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like 30 minutes into cheering for us, they'll probably be like done.
Yeah. Is this not over yet?
Like how much longer? Do we have to wait for them?
Dad, keep going.
Yeah. Can we go? Are we done?
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. That's that is really, really cool. So, are y'all going to like do it together, or y'all going to kind of do your own things? Like, have y'all planned that out? Yeah. Okay.
I tend to swim like a rock with a rock tied to it.
Okay.
So that's the only thing we're a little worried about is me diving in the water.
Okay. Don't die.
She did water polo in college and swimming in high school.
Okay.
So she's great. So
she
will leave me at the beginning. But we're hoping with the bike and the run. I
can easily catch up. And,
Okay.
We're definitely going to try to do it together.
Yeah.
Maybe even talk along the way. It's a lot of hours.
I feel like we should have brought so we did a few races together, like pre-kids, and there's one called the Tough Mudder. They have like all these obstacles you have to do.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The last part, you jump over fire, and they take a picture of you jumping over fire.
Okay.
And so we, of course, wanted to jump over together. We're jumping over the fire, holding hands. In the picture, like our bodies make the outline of a heart in the picture. And our friend saw it and pointed it out.
That's amazing.
Like, how did y'all
this is gross.
How did you do that so perfectly? And it really was. We were like, wow, this should be on a poster somewhere.
Maybe we'll try to recreate that over the finish line.
I don't know if it'll be in the air, though, at that point. It'll be like,
right.
It'll be like, you see those videos of people crawling at the end?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is a really great segue into what we're talking about, because that's one of the things, like when we're talking about couples working together to better their relationship, it's finding a common goal. And y'all right? Like that is a huge, like finding the purpose in their relationship. And y'all even write about it in your book, like the usness of the relationship, like finding that purpose. So this is a great example of that. Y'all are living it out.
We're trying.
We'll have to report next year on how it goes.
Yes, for sure.
But I do think we figured out that our relationship thrives on adventure and novelty. And it's not necessarily something that's like keyed into one of us, but it's, I think, what we know brings us together over and over again. And so, a lot of times when we're talking to couples, we'll say like the mistake people make is forgetting that there's a relationship that literally can't take care of itself. It's kind of like a dependent child, right? You have to care for it.
Yeah.
And the kind of demands of the world will tend to keep you from doing that. And we recognize that. Like we recognize part of the reason we were doing this is because we do have to run a business now. We have kids who we're educating and trying to raise, and we love all that, and we get a lot out of doing it together, but it doesn't nurture our usness in the way
right. Sure.
do. And so,
and
we're kind of the way that we're like, if we don't commit to something, if we don't kind of sign our name to it, we tend to kind of put it off. We'll kind of be like, okay, next year is going to be the thing. So I think we were kind of in that space where we were like, if we keep up this pace of running a business and running a family, we may not get back to caring for our relationship. And so it's intentional. It'll be excruciating, but it's intentional. And I think there's some really good opportunities.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think I want people to hear that you don't have to do an Ironman together, but maybe find something to do together that you can work together towards a common goal. Yeah. No, that's so good.
When we lived in LA, we were broke. Which, I mean, you kind of, if you're in LA and you're not a movie star, you're broke.
Yeah, right.
But we were like really broke. We were in grad school. We would love good food. And there was a food critic, Jonathan Gold, who he had a list of the top 100 restaurants in LA. And he had a whole book. And so what we would do is, because we love new things, we love food, we would save up our money. I mean, we would we would eat any free food we could get anywhere, and we would save up enough to go to one of the top restaurants in LA. And that became like our usness thing. We would do this and we would check it off the list and we'd be like, okay, what's the next one we were going to go to? And I think it doesn't have to be these big grand things.
Yeah.
It can just be going like, what's the thing that draws us together? That's going to be the thing that we prioritize and we make happen in a relationship.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think it's just, you have to find it, right? Like as a couple, you have to find what that thing can be. Yeah. And just work together on it and sort of, like y'all did with the food, like have a plan. Okay, we're going to have this list and we're going to save together. And so cool.
It means being willing to like maybe kind of strike out every once in a while.
Right.
To try some things that you go, well, that's not our thing.
Not our thing. Yeah.
over the course of our relationship, we've tried to do some art projects together every now and then. And,
not our thing. Yeah.
It's fun, but it's just not our thing.
Yeah. But even that, right? Even like trying to find your thing is a thing together.
Oh yeah. I think just about at least, half of the art pieces we created together have some sort of like argument involved around it. And now we have like that cemented in the memory of it, right?
Yeah. That's how it is at my house with house projects, me and my husband, because we approach them very differently. So like when this wall was painted, this is what we were arguing about. Yeah. That's what makes a home, right? Like the conflict.
Painting of this like tree at night, and we each did one. It was a date night, and we fought the whole time. And I think I may have walked out a couple of different times. But we kept the paintings, and we're kind of like, we can't hang them on the wall.
Right. It's too traumatic.
And they're not that great,
right? They're terrible.
But we're also like, it feels weird to throw them away. I kind of feel like it needs to like be there to remind us, like, this is what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Get this back there. Right. So they kind of, I think they sit in our laundry room. They're just like up in a corner. Like,
they're there. Don't forget. That's right.
And I think our kids saw them one day. We're like, oh, can we hang those? We're like,
no.
That's hate art. You can't.
Right. Hate art. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll really practice what you preach too. Even though this is the world that y'all live in, coaching and mentoring couples and working with them for, the improvement, the progress, the transformation of their relationship. Like, I mean, just like any couple, y'all have hardship, y'all have fights, y'all have conflict. And I think that's the other thing. Like, I love that y'all also talk about that, because it's so easy for other people to idealize couples and relationships when they look at them from the outside. It's like, oh, well, they do this for a living. They must have it all together. And I, as a therapist, like, I will have clients say, well, you and your husband must like never fight. And I'm like, oh boy, let me tell you. If you only knew, right, the things that we fought about. So I just love the realness of that, the authenticity of that. I think it makes it so much more approachable, the things that y'all are speaking on. So this book, and I told y'all before we recorded, Building True Intimacy, creating a connection that stands the test of time. Literally this week, I've already referred this to 2 clients of mine. I see them as an individual, but a lot of what we were talking about in session was about their relationship. And the reason I love the book is how y'all have broken things down. And we're going to talk about that today. But, you really break down what is needed, and that intimacy pyramid, my goodness. again, makes it so like you have the visual now. Like this is what you need for intimacy. Because I think people would say, oh yeah, obviously. But what y'all have done here is you've laid out each layer, how to build on each layer, what that looks like. And I think language matters because what y'all are doing, y'all are defining what that means. And then y'all are telling people the ways, multiple ways to do that and what that actually is going to look like so that they can achieve intimacy. And I think intimacy is such a buzzword when we're talking about relationships, but I don't think we always really think about the definition of that. Exactly. And I think people have various definitions of that. And so y'all did a really good job of defining that with that pyramid and then sort of breaking it down into very digestible chunks. So thank you. Thank you for writing this book. I know I'm going to refer to it often in sessions and tell people to buy it because it's just it's like an easy read that makes you feel like, oh, I can do this, and I don't think there's enough books about relationships and marriage that do that. So thank you. I think it's great to have that out in the world. So let's start with intimacy. How do y'all define that word? How do y'all define intimacy in a marriage? Hey, y'all, just popping in. My friends over at Work Ethos are launching a program called Founder to CEO Fast Track in January of 2026. It's designed specifically for women founders who are done wearing all the hats and ready to make their next strategic hire without the second guessing. It's invite only, super high touch, and seriously transformational. If that sounds like where you are right now, I really think you'll want to check it out. It's a 90-day experience starting in early January with weekly live sessions, private consulting, and tools that help you lead, hire, and grow without burnout. I've seen the behind the scenes of this program, and let me tell you, it's not fluff. It's strategic, personal, and incredibly practical. You'll walk away knowing exactly who your first or next critical hire should be, how to delegate without losing control, and what it really means to step fully into your CEO role. If you're curious, check out the link in the show notes to learn more. And if it sounds like a fit, I'd be happy to connect you directly with Marty Munger, the co-founder of Work Ethos, to answer your questions.
Yeah, it's really this connection that leads to mutual thriving. And when we say mutual, say both for the individuals as well as the relationship, right?
Right.
Sometimes when we think about intimacy, we only think about this relational connection, but we forget the fact that we are all created to be in a relationship. We need secure attachment to thrive as individuals. And sometimes it can be tempting when you're in a relationship to think, especially when you're starting to get into conflict, like who's going to win, right? Or your needs going to win out, or my needs going to win out. We forget there's this third thing in between us, the relationship. And when we nurture and care for that relationship and create intimacy, both of our needs as individuals are supported.
Yeah.
Right. And it's easier to thrive individually as well.
And I think what we see with couples who really achieve and experience intimacy is it's not only kind of life-giving within the relationship, it's life-giving outside of it. Like you'll meet couples and you'll meet people that you'll go like, oh, I love being around them, right? I love bringing to the table. I feel like I'm blessed by them. They encourage, they equip, and that's what really is that sign, right? Intimacy is this overflowing of life. We call it like it's generative. It creates things.
Yeah,
And it has a kind of inspirational aspect to it. And what we see in intimate couples are usually really kind of three important characteristics. They have a high sense of like kind of passion, desire for the relationship. Like they're excited, right? Obviously, it's good, but they're kind of excited to go deeper. What we found, couples we've seen to become the strongest, they tend to want to get back to the work, right? They're like, okay, what else out there? What is there else? What can we do? How can we continue to grow? What does it look like to continue to mature? And so there's this high sense of passion. There's also a deep sense of purpose. There's a sense of like, we exist for a reason. Like there's a reason our usness is in the world. There's a reason our relationship exists. Our story matters. It's a story worth telling, right? And so There's that kind of sense of purpose, but there's also this kind of lightness of play. And
I love that y'all included that. Right? Oh,
you got
yes.
This, like, very serious, like you got the kind of erotic, you've got the kind of purpose.
Right.
And you also have this just kind of like silliness and this level of comfortability with each other. And then this way in which they kind of play together, really kind of looking like, hey, we're not bound by these insecurities because we have this connection. We really get to be fully ourselves. And that's what's really fun, is getting to see couples kind of live that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I love that y'all attached, like secure attachment to this work. Cause I think that, I mean, again, attachment theory is also like this, a lot of people are talking about it, right? But the way that y'all were able to, show like with true intimacy, you are securely attached to your partner. And that is huge. Yeah. That's huge when we're working with individuals just on their own stuff, and then how that plays out in a relationship, but as a couple as a whole, right? And I also just love that y'all included play, because that's, I think, whenever I'm either seeing a couple or an individual and all I'm hearing is just conflict after conflict after conflict. My first question is, when was the last time y'all had fun together? Like, when was the last time that y'all did something fun? Go do that, right? Like, put the conflict aside. Go bowling, go on a scavenger. I don't know, whatever you think is fun. What sounds fun to you, go do it. Because that's such a connecting point that we can just remember, oh, we're humans and I like you. I like spending time with you. Yeah.
We need some of those good endorphins, right?
Yes.
If when I come into anything, if it's always hard and grueling and tough, right? Eventually my body's going to start to want to reject whatever that is. And
right.
So if we are always only having tough, heavy, hard conversations, and that's the extent of our relationship, eventually my body's going to start to resist it, right? And not want to do any of that deep work anymore. And so you have to balance it out with this play, with this fun, with joy with each other.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you do that and you find that balance, all of a sudden you're more excited to push into those harder, to those deeper moments as well.
Well, and you feel more secure, to have those harder conversations, right? Because you can see this person as an ally rather than an adversary. And it's, I think you need that kind of a fun, playful connection. And like you said, for your body to say, hey, it's safe. Like, this person's safe. You can have this really hard conversation with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And play often brings out the best in us. And I think it helps us to be kind of reminded of what we fell in love with. I think play allows us to kind of get in, because that's a lot of what early dates were. They were playing.
Yeah. Right.
Doing things, we were doing activities. We kind of had a whirlwind romance. We got engaged in 2 months. We've been on 4 dates. But we had these magical dates. We won a golf tournament. We went.
Oh my gosh!
We went swimming in a lake in a thunderstorm
at night.
And we played baseball on the Field of Dreams in Iowa, where the movie was.
Oh my word! Yeah, y'all, it's like a fairy tale, like your dating journey.
It was like The Bachelor, right? Where there's incredible dates. Right. What's going to happen when we go to the movies, right?
I know. Yeah.
But I think part of it was we were playing, right? We were trying this out, and I think figuring out pretty quickly that this is what drives us together, right? Doing things new and different. We'd also sit and have conversations, right? We talk, we reflect, we write letters, and so. But I think that play, it brought out who we were. We were able to see that in each other, kind of those deep, abiding core values. And that's what said, what we have together based on who we are individually, this is going to be worth fighting for. It's going to be worth, like you said, doing that hard work, having those hard conversations, pushing through the tricky things.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting that ended up being the foundation of y'all's relationship, right? Like the play, the adventure, right? I mean, and what a really cool story to be able to point to, whenever you're in a hard season, to say, but remember, right? Like, where's our adventure? Let's go find one. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Okay. So where do y'all tend to see that breakdown of intimacy in relationship? I mean, y'all are telling us what that looks like, but I imagine there's examples of where y'all tend to see the breakdown of that?
Yeah, well, so much, right, that we've been talking about is that secure attachment.
Yes.
That ability to, right, like experience safety through play. But oftentimes couples try to jump to intimacy without building a foundation.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of the ability to have purpose and passion and play relies on what you're building underneath. And one of the biggest places I think it can break down is in that safety level. And so that safety isn't there. When we try to jump into these vulnerable places, there can be a lot of pain. It can actually do the opposite of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So, and just most of us we don't grow up being taught, here's how to build safe relationships.
Right. Right.
That's right. Here's how to even understand what safety in relationship. For a lot of clients we see when we tell them, it feels like maybe your relationship feels unsafe to you. They go, what? No, like,
right.
We don't beat each other up. What are you talking about? It's not a thing, right? And so even just that concept of emotional safety and what goes into building that is new for so many people.
And one of the things we found that I think people aren't aware of that drives that is that desire for secure attachment. So right, we know secure attachment is what helps us to thrive, and our bodies know that. So there's
right.
But often the way we approach it. And so what we see a lot of times in relationships is they come to a place of, I'm demanding secure attachment from my partner and from the relationship. So what I want is I want to show up and I want my partner and I want the relationship to take care of me. Right? Yeah. And so it's the kind of you complete me, right? You're here and me whole, which yes, what's hard is that's actually true, right? The consistency and the connection will help you to thrive. But if you take a kind of demanding stance of that and an expectation of the relationship, you're going to be disappointed because the relationship will let you down. Your partner will let you down. They're going to make mistakes. And so what we try to help couples to see is you get that attachment by doing the work yourself, doing the individual work, right? Great relationships are made up of two healthy individuals. They're not made up of two toxic individuals that work, right? They're not made up of someone who's toxic and someone who's healthy. It's when two people are saying, I've got the work I need to do to myself. That's what allows me to build the attachment that's going to matter for us. And so I think a lot of people kind of come into that relationship, they're wanting that. But they're not realizing that, I'm missing the work kind of right in front of me.
Yeah, it's really this generous approach to relationship rather than this like taking, right? I want the relationship to fix me or fulfill me rather than I want to generously pour in and care for this relationship. And I know when I do that, I do reap a lot of benefits, right? I feel like if I put in a lot of effort to build a strong, secure house that I then get to live in. But if I just throw up a tent and go, well, that's all the effort I'm going to put into it and it better get me through this hurricane. Well, it's just not going to. Really approaching it with that idea of I want to give, I want to nurture, I want to care for this relationship. And when we do that consistently together, we get the benefits of that secure attachment.
Yeah. Well, and y'all even towards the end of the book, y'all lay out like what like your personal commitments and your relational commitments look like. And I think that's super important because I mean, anytime, a couple is entering into this kind of work, I mean, they really need to think about that. Like, what is my investment? What is my commitment to this process? Because if you're going in thinking, well, I don't know that this is going to work, or this person that I'm here with, they've got a lot of stuff to do, right? You got to really think about what is your commitment to this, but also what is your commitment to the relationship in this for the work to actually, do something. Do what it's designed to do.
100%.
Yeah, we're always fighting against competing loyalties. And a lot of these things are good things, right? And it's not necessarily about what I choose. It's about how I choose to balance, right? To prioritize. And so like we tell people all the time, committing to your marriage doesn't mean you have to give up your career. It doesn't mean you have to give up friends or hobbies, but it's about how do these things integrate and connect with our relational experience, right? Are these things, is my career and the way I approach my career maybe keeping me from the connection I'm looking for? Is there a way I can adapt? And I was talking to a client the other day. His wife is in ministry and she leads a young life group. And we were talking about connection and we were talking about hey, do you go to the meetings, right? Are those meetings open? And he's like, well, yeah, they are. And I was like, do you go? He's like, no, I'm usually at home and I'm kind of like, I'm doing the laundry. And I was like, what if you went to the meetings? And so we started going to the meetings and he was like, it was incredible. Like I got to see her and her family. I got to be reminded of what it's like to be together doing kind of things as a couple. And it was like that way of her career, right? Their marriage intersecting in a way that worked. And I think that that's something that we oftentimes miss is not just like what am I going to choose, but how am I going to choose these to work together?
And it can even be small daily choices, right? Our life is insane and it can be really tempting to like, okay, you go work on that thing. I'll work on this thing, right? This kind of divide and conquer. But we find that we'll be separate then for a lot of the day, for a lot of our time. And sometimes we just have to make that decision of like, it's less efficient, but let's both go to the grocery store together, right? Just like, one little decision that day can help build in extra connection that's then going to help our relationship build and then get to the next day where we get the same opportunity to make a small choice like that is going to build and maintain connection.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that you said that because divide and conquer is often our motto. I mean, and it's a little easier for us because we only have 2 kids and there's 2 of us, right? And so a lot of times they are having to go in opposite directions. Yep. But what I love about what you said about that is you have to be intentional. Like, is your intention right now to be efficient, or is your intention togetherness and connectedness? And sometimes, and sometimes you have to choose efficiency. That's fine. But maybe sometimes you have to maybe do the little bit harder thing or thing that maybe doesn't make as much sense so that you can feel connected. Because maybe if you divide and conquer, you will not see each other for 7 days. I mean, truly.
And you'll often build that habit of not doing things together. When our kids were young, it was hard to go to the grocery store with them, right? Because they're grabbing things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're crying. And so we realized it's easier to stop. One of us stays in the car, right? Plays some music, hangs out, and the other one goes in and goes to the grocery store. And we did this for a couple of years, and it worked. And I can remember we were out by ourselves, and I was going into Trader Joe's, and I was like, okay, wait here, and I'll go get some stuff.
Sit in the car by yourself.
You can come too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Our brain, right? Like our brain was still in that mindset. Of,
we can't do things together,
right? And so, like, we get to go in, we get to have the free sample, we get to have an extra cup of coffee, right? Like, this for all
y'all can go look for the cow, right? Like, go look for the cow. The kids don't have to do that. Y'all can go do it.
Get my free sucker. It's gonna be great. You know?
Amazing.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Let's break down what is the intimacy pyramid, because you said, Joanna, a lot of people try to jump the gun, right? Like they try to kind of go all over the place with these concepts that y'all have included in the pyramid. And then there's expectations of that intimacy that maybe aren't able to happen because we haven't started with the foundation. So can y'all walk us through the intimacy pyramid that y'all developed?
Yes. Yeah. So if you imagine a triangle for the visual, and it's very similar, laid out to kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So there's different levels building up to the top of that triangle. That bottom foundational level where you have to start is honesty. And then on top of honesty is safety. After safety, you build trust. After trust is vulnerability. And then at the top of the pyramid is intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And we built it with this idea of asking ourselves what was necessary for the next thing, right? And so what we know is that when there's secrets in the relationship, when people aren't talking and they're closed off and they're shut down, right? And there's not this transfer of information and transparency, relations no longer are safe, right? When I don't know what's going on with the other person, that's not a safe relationship. It can't be. And that really came from our working with couples where there had been this really massive practice of infidelity, of hiding, lying. And we asked ourselves, if they're going to start over, what are they going to start with? And they have to start with honesty. And what's interesting is even for couples who don't have a kind of lying history that they have to overcome, this betrayal history, there's still usually struggles to be aware of myself, right? Struggles to show up authentically for fear of maybe I'm going to be judged or the other person's not going to like what I have to say. Sometimes fear of being assertive, asking for things that you might need or want and working for the good of the relationship. And so what we're finding is these couples that weren't feeling safe, they weren't lying to each other.
Right.
They also weren't being honest. And so that's where this foundation really kind of sits, because everything else gets harder. You can imagine, right? If we're being really, really vulnerable with each other, if we're sharing really difficult things, but we haven't actually shared the base, right? There's this kind of this really gap of honesty and safety. That vulnerability is going to come crashing in on itself. At some point, it's really going to burn us. And we're going to kind of ask ourselves, why did we do that? And that's where that trust gets destroyed, right? Is when people go into vulnerability and intimacy without that foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I love how you even describe the honesty piece of transfer of information. Yeah. It may not be that we're lying to each other or we're hiding things from one another. But again, I think going to like the stage of life when you're carting kids around and all of that, it's very easy to just maybe even not see something as important information to transfer. And that gets in the way of the connection, right? And it's not even that you're lying. It's just like, give this person that information, because that's foundational. That's foundational to the intimacy, to the connection.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Or we're just busy. I know sometimes.
Yes.
I like file something in my mind and I'm like, oh yeah, tell Matthew about this later.
Right.
And 2 weeks go by.
Sure.
Until something triggers that memory again. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I meant to tell you this, right? And you can imagine, a lot of couples I work with who've had young kids, life is crazy and chaotic. And this can happen a lot. Like it is hard to talk.
Yeah.
Talk
Right.
with young
For
kids,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And to have more than a 30-second conversation. And so a lot of couples can get to the place in relationship where they no longer have this honesty and safety just because of the realities of life and that lack of kind of intentionality of creating these touch points on a daily, regular basis so they can maintain that honesty, that safety.
Well, and I think y'all speak to this in your work too, like check-ins. Like, don't y'all recommend check-ins? Can we touch on that really quickly? Because I feel like this is also like, couples therapy 101. Everybody needs a check-in. I can't tell you, like, I'm always telling people, do you do check-ins? Do you do check-ins? They get real annoyed with me. So can we touch on that real quick?
Yeah. It's the weird thing, right? Because it can feel so awkward, right?
People will tell me, why do we have to schedule this? Because it won't happen if you don't.
Exactly. And so part of it is creating a structure that does work. And remembering what it's for, right? Check-ins are not a kind of, for us, they're not a space where we're trying to debate things, make decisions. They're really times when we're reflecting. One of the things that I think the speed of our society and our culture has really robbed from us is the ability to reflect. And if you look at like monastic traditions and kind of really traditions of people who are wise and healthy, there is a deep kind of commitment to reflect. Not just to intend, but actually reflect. And that's really what a check-in is designed for, is it gets me individually to check in on my day, right? Like, what did I see, right? What did I notice? One of the things that we build in our check-in that we have couples do is to notice something your partner did, right? That was honorable, praiseworthy, good. And part of the reason we do that is it helps shift my perspective of my partner.
Yeah.
Gottman tells us that you need 5 positive experiences for 1 negative, right? So I do that like honoring, because I need to give my brain no, it was really helpful when they took our youngest daughter aside and they spent some time with her and they helped her with what she was feeling. I really appreciate that my husband or that my wife did that. Like just that movement will create that internal shift. And so the check-in is kind of to reflect and then to create this shift and then to create connection points, right? It does, it brings everything out into the open. And sometimes just the knowing is enough. Like, just okay,
right.
I know where you are, right? I know what you're feeling. I know what you're experiencing, and that's enough right now.
Yeah. And it may bring up places to go deeper, right? And after the check-in, right? We kind of have the structured check-in for couples to do. And then afterwards, there may need a place of, hey, can we go back to what you shared in this part of the check-in? I would love to know more about that. Right? Can we go deeper into that? And so you have this touch point, and we recommend daily because so much happens in a day.
Sure.
Just missing a day or 2 or 3, right? You've missed opportunities to connect emotionally and build that relationship. And so doing it as regularly as possible, having a structure. And I think what's also helpful in the structure, because no one gave us a check-in when we first got married. Like, I had no idea, like, what are the pieces you need to talk about to build a emotional connection?
Yes. Okay. So do y'all lay that out? Do y'all have? Okay. Yes. Okay. I love that. Yes.
We have a very specific, and we are happy to share it with everyone. We can share that. We call it the honest connection. And so each letter of honest stands for something you're sharing with your partner.
Oh, I love that.
The first one you mentioned is honoring each other. What's something you saw or you noticed? O is ownership. Take ownership for something you did that day that maybe wasn't as helpful as it could have been, right? So we kind of go through these different ways of connecting that are really important to do regularly if you're going to build an honest, safe, trustworthy relationship. And so by creating this habit of this check-in, you're really shoring up the foundation of those first 3 levels.
Yeah.
Then I think the other piece that I really encourage couples is like check in on your relationship. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They talk a lot about life, kids, the things, the content, but they don't talk about the relational connection that they're feeling. And teaching them how to have that conversation, to be able to kind of like self-assess. Where are we at? How are we doing? What do we need? Right? I think is another really helpful aspect of that check-in.
Right.
So sometimes I make the comment, wait, are we, because we work together, we work with other couples. I'm like, are we talking about other people's relationship or our relationship?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet. Right. Yeah.
Do a little reset and be like, okay, we need to focus a little bit more our check-in on ourselves, on our relationship, get back to that place. So, and it's a little shift every day that makes a ginormous difference. And I know this, and I tell clients this all the time, right? But I think when it really hit home for me was when one of our very first couples we worked with, when we started really working with couples who experienced betrayal, who had just a story you would not think anyone could come back from. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Story, and you go, there's just no possibility. And if you do, it certainly won't be a good relationship, right? But they did the work. They dove in. They did all the things like intensives, full disclosures, right? Like impact letters, like these big steps we take couples through to heal after betrayals. God, they're just in this amazing, thriving place. I remember asking them, like, what's like the thing that stands out to you as like having the biggest impact in your journey? And they named 2 things. One was learning self-regulation, but the second one was our daily check-in.
Yep. Amen. Right.
To this day. So I'm like, if you want to be able to come back from just about anything, start a daily check-in.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Radically change your relationship really quickly.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I love about like how y'all have it laid out, and this is what I suggest to clients too, is have something that like it's the same, right? Like you have like a structure because then there's not anything that's going to be like, just randomly brought up, like, what these check-ins are going to look like. I think it also helps our brains to be on the lookout, right? Be on the lookout for those honorable things. So then you have something to say. And that creates such a shift in our hearts and in our connection when we know what to expect. Cause I know with my husband, and I've told this story before, but, I'm a therapist and he is not, right? Okay. So he is, like you talked about being a data nerd, that's him, very analytical, but then he married a therapist. So it's been really good for him, but very hard. And, even our first couple session, we go to the therapist and on his intake form, it says, "Why are you here?" And he said, "Ask my wife." That was literally what he wrote. And I was like, and I didn't know that until the therapist was like, "Can you tell me more about this answer?" I was like, great. Awesome. But I, of course, am like a big cheerleader for we got to do check-ins. And he does not like to be blindsided. He needs to be prepared. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Enneagram. He's an Enneagram 5. So he needs to be prepared and know, because he doesn't want to look dumb and he doesn't want to look incompetent. He doesn't want to have the right answers. Right. And so whenever I suggested this, the thing that gave him comfort was we're going to ask the same questions. Like this is what our check-ins are going to look like. And so he was much more, I don't know, much more willing to do that, because I think some of that fear is, are you going to bring up something that I'm not prepared to talk about? Like, are we going to go through this huge conflict? And maybe sometimes those conversations spur, like you said, Joanna, a deeper level of conversation, but it's not anything that you shouldn't be expecting, right? Because you know the structure of what those check-ins are. And I think that makes it a healthy check-in.
Yes.
And when you're doing it consistently, that's the other part, less in the relationship. And I do think that's really scary for people, right? When I know what's going on and something comes out of the blue, right? That's terrifying. Whether or not that's a betrayal, right? It could just be like, I didn't know my partner was going through this, or I didn't know that this was bothering them. That hits everybody really hard. And so the check-in really alleviates that, because you can kind of sense it, like, okay, this person has said for the last 3 or 4 days that they're really feeling overwhelmed. Yeah. So I'm not surprised when they're kind of like, something's got to shift. Something has to shift. I'm like, hey, no, that makes sense. Like, it's not working. So we need to work on it together. And I think that ability to talk and to share, and one thing I want to think, it doesn't have to take forever. Like a good check-in for us will take 15 minutes.
Well, and if you do it consistently, it won't take forever. The first few may be longer, but if you do it consistently, it won't. And that's why I tell couples, I was like, if you show up to a check-in and it's really short, good job. Like, I mean, like, it's okay if you show up and there's not a whole lot to go over. Like, don't just say we're not going to do it. Still do it. We don't have anything to say.
I know, but I think people have this idea that it's like this 3 hour.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that for sure.
Like, we're just going to be touching base.
And part of it is that you kind of mentioned it earlier, that repetition also helps shape who I am in relationship. Right? We talked about how a healthy relationship is two healthy individuals coming in to co-create this relational experience. And so we've specifically chosen the things in our check-in because these are ways we want to be shaped personally. So we're showing up to relationship healthier. And the more repetition, the more this is going to become a part of who I am, right? And so seeing my partner, not just seeing their flaws, seeing the positive in my partner, and making that what is biggest in my vision, what I'm looking for on a daily basis.
Right.
Taking ownership, right? Not getting into that blame defensive stance, but being open to taking responsibility. Gratitude, we end with gratitude, right? And so there's been so much research about what the benefits, the mental health, emotional health benefits of practicing gratitude, right? So it's these practices that we've woven in that are going to help us individually be healthier people. And then as we come together and share these things, we get to nurture the relationship at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. So people are going to see the title of this. We're talking about intimacy. They're going to think we're talking about sex, right? There definitely are going to be people that think about that. So, and I mean, we're kind of saying if you're working with this intimacy pyramid, and you have these foundations, that is going to play a part in your sex life. But can we just touch on that real quickly? Because I know y'all do talk about that when you're talking in the intimacy chapter specifically. So what does that look like? Like, how can we speak to that when we're talking about intimacy? And just to be clear, intimacy is not sex. It is a part of intimacy, but it's not the definition.
Yeah, I think a buddy of mine, when I told him the title, he's like, "Are y'all writing a sex book?"
Right.
I was like, well, sort of. I mean,
yeah, sort of. Right.
Well,
yeah.
And it's working. Like, it'll work on that level.
Yeah, it'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is part of recognizing is that physical intimacy, that sexual intimacy is a reflection of relational experience, right? That's the way it's designed. It's designed to reflect and to kind of continue to renew. And so this is a process for sexual intimacy as much as relational intimacy. And oftentimes we'll have couples who need to go on that journey because they really probably never did in their own life. Part of what really drove our marriage apart and to the brink was a really kind of disastrous and unhealthy history that I had with sexuality from very young. I mean, I grew up in TV lifestyle, right? We got cable, we were watching things at a young age that I was not ready to understand. And it really built in me a way of understanding our relationship, both emotionally, but also sexually. And so part of what had to happen is I had to get honest about that. Like I had to start to name the parts of my kind of sexual framework that weren't working, that weren't healthy, that weren't really honoring of the values we had in our relationship. And so we kind of had to work through the pyramid, right, for that. And so that's often what we see couples do, right, is they work through things relationally. They might also start working through it sexually. They might start talking about like, are there any parts of our sexual relationship that might not feel safe, that don't feel like they're consistent or they're healthy? Right? Are we engaging sex out of our pain and kind of maybe our insecurities rather than our sense of kind of like strongness and self? And so working through that we've seen has actually been really helpful for couples because kind of like regular relationships, most of us got no framework on how to build healthy sexual intimacy. Even if we got the sex talk, maybe we got the biology of it, right? But the way
honestly, probably not a very good biology.
No. But no, the relational part of sex, nobody's really talking about that. Unless it's in like an unhealthy, maybe traumatic way, right? Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. And so just starting at the bottom and going, we have to get honest about our sex life and sexuality, our past, our present, and our future. Where do we want to go? What's our goals? Do we have shared goals, a shared vision for our sexuality together? It's going to be really hard to build anything healthy if we're not at that starting place. And then once we get honest, right, how do we start to co-create a really safe experience of sexuality? How do we get rid of the unhealthy parts that we brought in and really create something, a vision for something that's going to be good moving forward? And so just walking through those same steps,
that's good.
On the sexual aspect of your relationship can be a great way to start building that.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I think that's the piece right there. Again, you're giving people the framework of how to talk about it because we have not been told how to talk about it. And just knowing where to start is a step, right? Like, I mean, and if you just, if this is something that is a struggle in your relationship, or you feel like you and your partner are on two completely separate books or pages, this is a great place to start, is just start being honest and hold space for that honesty and then build up towards the pyramid.
And one of the things we'll talk with couples about, sometimes the way you build safety and trust is actually with a third party, right? Well, the reason that we love coaching and counseling is we help people build safety and trust because they probably wouldn't be able to do it on their own because of how vulnerable or how meaningful the conversation is. And so, I mean, Joanna and I, we had to go get help. We had to get outside help when we were having conversations about our sexual journey and what we wanted our future to look like, because we knew that was the safest way to care for them, right? That way we could have a hard conversation, but we knew we had someone who could help kind of facilitate it, and monitor it, so we wouldn't go off the rails. Because we tried to have that conversation. I mean, we talked about it, but usually when it did, right, my defensiveness, right, the insecurities would flare up and it would shut down, and we'd kind of go, okay, never mind, just forget it. We're not gonna talk about it again. So I do think that getting good resources, having someone help you with the hardest, that's what will give you the freedom and the strength to do most of it on your own later on, right?
A lot of people don't realize that there is sex therapy. Like you can really go.
Absolutely.
Right? And when I start pulling up the topic and talking about their sex life, some couples just like look like
oh yeah. They're like, are we talking about that?
Say that word in here, right? Absolutely.
Yes.
You have to start talking about it.
Yeah. That's really good. Okay. I feel like we've said a lot of things that are like good encouragement and first steps. But if you were to like make it a concise, like if somebody's listening and they're feeling encouraged by what you're saying, but they know that they need help. They know that they need help either individually in their relationship or collectively in the relationship. What would your recommendation of like first steps be to get the help in those areas that we're talking about?
I do think, starting to think about what you want. I mean, one of the first things we do when we sit down with a couple is we ask them, what's the vision? What is it that you want? It's amazing. People who aren't happy in their relationship will often know what they want, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's really interesting when I ask couples that, it's rarely selfish. It's usually like, I wish we were more the team on things. I wish that when something was hard, I feel like that we would have each other's back. I wish we were more playful and light with each other and not they'll start to talk about the things that you see at the top of the pyramid, this intimacy.
Yeah.
Actually really healing for a couple. Because sometimes that I know, like what Joanna and I have struggled with is like, do we want the same thing?
Right.
Do we really want the same relationship? And sometimes just having that conversation with each other, kind of going, what is it that we want? Because if you can decide, if you can agree on that, if you can agree on the greater vision, then what you pull in and the resources that you bring in after that become much easier, right? It's people who kind of feel like they're not on the same page about anything where it's the hardest.
Yeah. And then, I mean, one of the reasons we wanted to write the book was to help couples be able to almost like self-assess what they then need to do to get to the vision. Because I think so often it's hard to step into the journey and do the work if you don't even know what it looks like. And that's a big part of our story, and what ultimately drove what we're doing now is because we wanted to create a clear path, clear steps that feel attainable, because I think that's just so much more motivating than I'd say, like, if you've been listening to this podcast, think about like, what are maybe some of the areas we need to work on? Grab the book, read through it. Be able to tell. And we actually have a short assessment that we've created that couples can take that will tell them kind of a little bit about
awesome.
relationship, and
that's great.
How they're doing in honesty, how they're doing in safety, how they're doing in trust, that can help them better pinpoint what are the areas we maybe need to focus on, pour our time and our energy into, that's really going to help speed up the process, because we're able to dial in and focus on the areas that really need the most care and attention.
Right.
And so kind of think about what you want, right? Talk about it.
Yeah.
Check in with where things are at. And then get help when you hit a block, right?
Yeah.
The thing that most people do is we work on it, we hit a block, and we stop working on it, right? We quit.
Right.
And
yes.
then it'll annoy us enough, and we'll work on it.
Yeah. For sure.
And I think,
and that gets really discouraging really fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Joanna and I took one of these like content courses when we were early on in our relationship, and the content was amazing, right? We felt like our book, like it taught us something so important, and we loved it, and we tried it ourselves, and we sucked at it. We knew the person who created it, and I remember like emailing her and going, "This doesn't work. It's a waste of time." Right? Like,
right.
I can't believe I even wrote that, but I think I did. I was like, "Your stuff is dumb," right? And she was so nice.
Disaster.
Right? She was like, well, okay. And she's from the South. She's like, bless your heart. What I want you to do is I want you to just go see one of my counselors for 8 weeks, right? Take the concept and practice it. And by 6 weeks in, I remember emailing her back and being like, I was totally wrong.
You're brilliant.
Right? Like, it works.
That works so well
and like,
when you actually do it.
It takes that kind of like third party, right? That
accountability, right? I have so many clients who see me just because of the accountability of week to week, right?
100%. Yeah.
Email, it was like, can we keep seeing you just because I think we communicate better because we know we're going to be checking in with you.
Yeah. For sure.
Totally get it.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's what y'all have done with these things that you've developed. I mean, hearing about the assessment, the check-ins, the book, the pyramid, you are giving couples hope. You know, I mean, because like y'all are saying, like if you hit a wall, that's okay. That doesn't mean, you know, like nothing's going to work. There's places to start or places to focus on, which again, like I said about the book, I feel like it's so digestible. And, you know, if you know that you're struggling in safety, go to the safety chapter, right? Like, let's start there. Let's just dive into that first. And then, so I think, again, it gives couples hope that they can do this. Because I think it can feel so hard when there's so much divisiveness or, you know, betrayal or whatever, like the big thing is, it can feel so hard to know where to start.
And I think reminding couples, just because you're maybe working on one of the foundational levels of the pyramid doesn't mean your relationship is weak or bad.
Right.
Joanna and I work on the honesty and the safety of our relationship regularly.
Yeah.
And we see gaps, right? We take our own assessment and we go, ooh, that's not as high as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
There's space for growth. And so just because, like you said, you realize, ooh, we need some more safety, doesn't mean we don't have any vulnerability or any intimacy.
Right. Yeah.
It just might be that this gap is holding us back from the more we like experience at the top.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's really, really good. Okay. Is there anything, before I ask my self-care questions, anything that we didn't address that y'all want to make sure we address before we wrap this part up?
I think we always love to remind people, good relationships are priceless, worth the investment. When we were in recovery, like I said, we were still in LA, so still broke. We had to go get student loans to pay for our counseling. Like that's how we paid for our counseling, right? And I remember the bursar being like, "You don't want to take out this loan," and we were like, "We don't have a choice." It's the best money we've ever spent, right? And I think just you don't have to just pay for counseling and coaching, but I think investing in your relationship, kind of putting in the work, it will pay off. And if you do it the right way, if you invest in yourself and in your own journey, it kind of pays off double, right? The work that I do in our relationship benefits me and it benefits our marriage. So just encouraging people to do that. Like I said, even if it's just like, we're going to do a check-in 15 minutes a day for the next month, just to kind of re-up our investment in our relationship. It will pay off.
That's good.
Remembering the small choices matters so much. I can feel like, I think sometimes feel like we just have to overhaul everything to get to where we want to be. If you're sitting there going, every level feels like it needs help. This is too much. This is too big. Right. It really is those little choices on a regular, consistent basis that will matter the most. And so pick something small that feels doable today and start doing it consistently, and you will start to see some change.
Yeah. I feel like the whole conversation answers this question, but what are things that you would recommend couples do to care for their relationship well? I mean, I know we talked about the check-in, talking about just starting somewhere, finding play, but what do y'all tend to recommend to couples as far as caring for their relationship well?
I think one of the things that comes to mind that just is so important, I think, in our current culture is being willing to slow down. Because we just get going so fast and we are running through life without awareness of really what we're doing, what we're creating. And so one of the challenges I give to some of my clients is this week, I want you to focus on every single interaction you have and think about, is it creating connection or disconnection?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
There's no neutral. I'm like, if you try to say neutral, it's disconnection.
Yeah, there you go. That's the default. Yeah.
That's where it defaults to. So let's think about that, right? But let's slow down and approach each other with intentionality. And really being willing to, right, when we're getting triggered, we tend to speed up when we're dysregulated and do things that hurt each other. Can we slow down in those moments and use our tools? Can I slow down in my own life and think about the habits that I'm cultivating individually, how they're shaping me as a human, and then slow down and think about the habits we're cultivating as a couple and what kind of a relationship that's going to create over the long term.
Yeah. It's good. Okay.
Just encourage, this comes from Steve Johnson, right? That relationships are usually strengthened by the courage of one person to kind of step in and do the work. It's going to have to start somewhere. Like we know this, right? When we've had conflict, when it's not good, it's going to be one of us is going to step in. And that doesn't mean that it can always be that way. There has to be balance in the relationship. But I think just reminding people, what courageous step could you take, right? That's going to care for your relationship. It will be vulnerable. It will be a bid, and that can be really, really scary. But that's how relationships get better usually. One person kind of saying, hey, I think there's more out there for us than what we've got. And I want to go for it with you. And so if you do that, you will care for the relationship. You'll care for the thing, like I said, that can't care for itself. It doesn't. it doesn't flourish just because it exists. It flourishes because it's something that's tended to.
Yeah.
Or right, it's committed to. So.
Yeah. And sometimes it just takes one of you going first, and like you said, being courageous. I think that's really good advice. Yeah. Well, what do y'all do as individuals, or even for y'all's relationship, to care for yourselves well, or to care for the relationship well? What does that look like for you guys personally?
One of the things we found for our relationship, we kind of described our early relationship and just we love to have fun and go on adventures, do things that we found is really important, kind of on a like an annual basis or every half year, is to actually get away, the two of us, without kids, not for a work trip, right?
Yeah.
And just it really just helps us with that slowing down and being together that feels almost impossible for us right now in our day-to-day life. And there's a period of time where I think we didn't honor that, and we could just feel it. We could just feel more tired, more exhausted, more disconnected in a way that we couldn't manage. And so for us, that's a practice that we found is really important to kind of have that time in our relationship to be able to really just be together, to go deeper. It's when we have these conversations about where we're at, what our goals are for the next year relationally, what we're going to do to cultivate it, all of those things that it's just really hard otherwise. And so that's been one piece for us personally that's been really life-giving as we've honored that consistently.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's worked for us over time is we really integrate, I think, our kind of personal development with each other. And so we went to grad school together, and we took all the classes together. We're in the same classes, right? We're both now in doctoral programs. It's two different programs, but we're at the same time. We're working on projects. We're doing this triathlon together, right? We've done these weight loss challenges together, right? And I think it's been they're self-care. They're really for kind of our own personal development. They don't necessarily, mean something for the relationship, but doing them together, right? We did one where you had to, the last week to really succeed in the weight loss program, is you had to eat only tilapia and asparagus. We called it. It was tilapia week. And it helps you cut all this weight. And if you cut off enough, you win this surprise. It's $500.
You get your money back, and we were so poor then. We're like, well, we can't afford it.
So I'm not kidding. It was asparagus smoothies and
Wait, was that you said for a whole week?
For a whole week.
Yeah. And that's all you could eat?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, right? I don't think $500 was enough. Yeah. But I mean, y'all were poor, so I get it. Yeah.
$500 was holy crap.
We're rich.
And so we did it, right? And I can just remember sitting there eating the soup and just being hey, this is worth it, right? And it was doing it together, right? I think it would have felt totally different. And if I'd have been there sitting and
for sure.
I'm over there having my hamburger.
You would have been mad at her. Absolutely. That would have been a disconnect
for a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think doing those things together, right? And
it creates hilarious memories.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. Right? Remember that time?
If someone serves us tilapia and asparagus, I'm I can't do it. It's sugar, right? I got to do EMDR.
Yeah. No more.
It's those things that I think, those, like Joanna said, it's the connection or disconnection, right? It was hard. It was frustrating, but it's a connection point, right?
Yeah.
And what we found is some of our favorite memories in our life are the things that were most miserable, right, at the time.
Yes.
Right? We moved into a new apartment in San Diego and signed a 13-month lease. And the day before we moved in, we found that there had been a brutal gang murder in the laundry room.
And we are moving in with our 18-month-old and our 6-week-old.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Awesome.
We're trying to get out of the lease, and they're like, no. And we don't, we have and so we're stuck there, and we called it Murder Meadows, right?
To this day, our Wi-Fi, so if anyone comes over to our house, we know our Wi-Fi code, Murder Meadows is the thing, and the password is staying alive. Back in the day when we lived in Murder Meadows.
But we made the best of it. We didn't go outside a lot, right? We
worked hard, drove away quickly.
But got through it. And so it's that unity in the hard things. And those are the memories. Like that's probably what we'll tell more than the trips to Disneyland, right? Or the other memories. And so I think the natural inclination is to want to kind of pull away, to isolate, to deal with it, to divide and conquer. And like I said, sometimes that helps, but a lot of times it is just going through it together. And part of, I think, what drew us together is we would talk about it, right? We talked about our fears about living in an unsafe place. We talked about our dislike of tilapia and asparagus and seasoning, right? We talked about those things and we shared those things. So they became this bond. And that's what we try to tell couples. You don't have to make working on your relationship your career. It's including your relationship in the life you're living and living it together. That's what's going to give you the intimacy you're looking for.
That's so good. Yeah. What a great word. Okay. How do people find you if they want to work with you? Where do they find you? How do they get in touch with you? Tell us all the things.
Right. It's super easy. We're Raabsmiths and the only ones in the world. So Raabsmiths.com is the easiest way to get to kind of find us in general. That'll have all of our resources. Okay. We do have a couple of things we love to kind of give away. We like to share with people. If you want to kind of
the honest check-in is one of them. So we can include a link to download that for free. And what's really fun, when you download that, it comes with a 30-day kind of challenge.
Oh, awesome.
This every day. And so you'll get emails every day reminding you to do it, encouraging you to keep with it. Even if you miss a few days, jump right back in to really try and form that habit of regular connection with your spouse. That's really the goal with that. And so download the challenge. There's like a little check chart if you like checking off, and that's so productive, right? And really dive in and try and use that resource.
Okay.
You can also pick up our book. We love.
Yes. Pick up the book. Yes.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's really cool. We've had people all across the world reach out and be like, this book really helped. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to get inspired and encouraged. And so, and just be in touch. Like we love people to reach out and say, hey, what does the next step look like? Can you help me find that? We often, even if we can't help someone, we're putting them in touch with someone who can. Like we're all really happy to say, these are the resources that have worked for us, right? Here's what you can do to take that next step. So just be in touch.
Yeah. And the assessment, is that also on your website?
Yeah. They'll be able to get that on our website. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. So in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. So, awesome. Perfect.
Really excited. Yeah. It's going to be a free assessment people get to take.
And can people work with you? Like, can y'all give all of this information and be a mentor to other couples? Okay.
Yeah. We still see couples. We have a team of couples as well. What's really nice is we can work with anyone in the world. We have clients in Egypt. We have clients in Canada, right? We have clients in the US. If you're wanting to work on your marriage and make it something better than it is, our team can help you with that.
Awesome.
It's really fun. We love, that's really the kind of heart of our work is that day-to-day stuff with clients.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's what inspired y'all to develop all of this, right? I mean, to write the book and you did this for them, which I think when that's the heart and the foundation of that work, I think it just speaks volumes because you're doing this for real people and real things that y'all have seen in real life. Yeah. With the clients that you've worked with. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thank you all so much. I'm so happy to know you and so happy to have this book in my hands and to tell all the people. But I think this conversation is going to be so encouraging and provide some hope to couples, to individuals. Again, just to know where to start and know that there are options, right? And there are things that you can actually do that are going to be helpful. And it doesn't have to feel big or overwhelming. It can feel, simple. And it's just a matter of taking that courage to take that first step. So thank you all so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
If today's conversation inspired you, take a moment to reflect on your own relationship. Maybe try a daily check-in, plan a small adventure together, or simply open up an honest conversation with your partner. Remember, intimacy isn't built overnight. It's nurtured through small, consistent choices made with love and intention. Matthew and Joanna gave us some insightful nuggets on how we can start a deeper connection today. It's inspiring to hear them speak to how individual work is an investment in your relationship. Small daily choices are what help to deeper the intimate connection. And man, when they mentioned that sometimes we need to focus more on investment rather than efficiency, that's something I will carry with me. Check out the show notes where you can find the Raabsmiths website, and they have all the resources they mentioned in the show today on the website. They also have the structure that they talked about today for their daily check-in. So you definitely want to check that out. And y'all have got to pick up their book. I'm telling you, it is so digestible. And it's one of those books that you can flip through and find wisdom and encouragement wherever you're needing it in that moment. And also, I've included other episodes of The Couch Next Door on partner relationships. So be sure to check those out as well. If you enjoyed this episode, please send it to your partner or spouse or someone you know that needs encouragement in their relationship. And remember, y'all, relationships are hard. So keep showing up with courage, curiosity, and connection. The information included in this podcast does not replace that of your own professional therapy. If you believe you are in need of professional assistance, please reach out to the medical community in your area. The Couch Next Door with Candace Frazier was created by me, Candace Frazier. Graphics by Jason Frazier. Music by Josh Bissell. You can find the show notes and affiliate links on CandaceFrazierLPC.com. Click on the tab Podcast and you'll find all podcast-related content there. I'd love to connect with you on Instagram. Find me at Candace Frazier LPC. Give the show a rating or review wherever you listen to podcasts. This really helps get the show to more listeners in the world, and I would be so grateful to see what you all are loving. Until next time, show kindness to yourself and those around you.